reason. I don't know. I guess I always do that like as a mic check when I make videos myself. Like all my videos forever, for years now. Every time I start recording a video, they're all like, "Hello, hello." And one of the first things David and I somehow started talking about was it reminded there's two particular videos that it reminds us of. One is there's that old BBC show Faulty Towers with the guy from Monty Python. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyway, there's a scene where there's like this big moose head sitting on a desk, and there's guy, he's like cleaning, and he's behind it so you can't see him. And he's practicing his English, and he says, "Hello, hello. I can speak English. I learned it from a book." And there's this man at the hotel. He turns around and he just sees the moose head, and it seems like the moose head is talking to him. "Hello, hello. I can speak English." The other one is there's an episode of Seinfeld where they come up with this silly voice and they go, "Hello, hello." And Jerry's girlfriend is really annoyed by it. And so she gives him an ultimatum, like it's either the voice or her. And so they do one of those montagey things where he goes off, he's like on a pier, he's thinking about it, and he's thinking about her, and he gets this idea, and he runs back to her apartment, and she answers the door. She's like, "Jerry." He says, "Hello," and he walks off. Anyway, that's...
Yeah, I pasted a link to that one in Pound Sumo. Because it's just a great clip. All right. Good morning, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, are we waiting for anybody else?
I think so.
Kadir.
We're waiting for Kadir,
and
Matthew, and that may be it.
I saw Matt G in Pound Sumo. Is he gonna join the meeting, or is he was just talking to you? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Morning, everyone. Hello.
You heard the whole story, I'm sure, about the hello-ness.
Oh, yeah, that's a great Seinfeld episode, too. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that cracks me up. All right. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
This might really officially become our thing. We should figure out a team name based on hello. All right. Well, why don't we get started, because we're 2 minutes in.
Yep.
Let's see. At least according to my clock here. All right. So first off is Sumo development update from Ricky. And by the way, do we have Crystal or Brahm here? I guess we don't. Anyway, Ricky, the floor is yours.
We can invite Brahm if he doesn't know about it.
Oh, look, here's Crystal.
Sure. Oh, there's Crystal. Sweet. Hi, Crystal.
Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning.
So it's been a while, I think, since I've been on this call. The big thing is Elasticsearch still. Today, on today's push, we'll be landing the last known blockers. So after today's push, we will run an index, and hopefully that goes okay. And if that goes okay, we can start rolling it out slowly to people. I guess to us first, and then to others.
Good work.
And other than that, the other major thing we're working on is the KPI dashboard, adding graphs and stuff for you guys. And yeah, other small things and some UX improvements that have come in and stuff.
So the KPI, is there any place where you can see like a work in progress for the KPI dashboard?
It will be from day on.
From today, there'll be one graph, and by the way, the percentages on that graph are a little bit off, but they'll be fixed next week.
And what's the URL for this? Is this something that anyone can try out at this point? or starting today?
Yes.
You can look on dev or stage. Let's see.
And for
Okay,
people who
well,
don't know, can somebody explain KPI? Like I heard
yeah,
Levi say that 50
I
times
guess also
before
what
I
I
knew
was
what it
hoping
was.
was that, sorry, now I'm talking at the same time, but what I was hoping for was a URL. If you can add that to the agenda, Kadir, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll do that right after this meeting. So, Michael, KPI means key performance indicator. And this is about the KPI. So we talked about regarding self-service support, user-to-user support, and community growth. And with each sprint, we will add another set of KPIs to the KPI dashboard. It's world viewable, so as soon as that is landed, people can just go to that URL. I think it's /KPI dashboard or SUMO dashboard. I'm not exactly sure. I will have to look that up. But then you can just see all of our KPIs on one page. Does that answer the question, or is anything else about that?
It does. I just want to, see the
Ricky put a link to
URL,
it
and I
in
think, yeah, I saw
Council.
that now. Perfect.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right. Thanks, Ricky.
And a
All right, any
screenshot
questions
of
for Ricky?
what it looks. Yeah. Okay.
There's a question, is it not possible to log in on stage server? So it is possible. You should just be able to use, you don't have to, when's the last time we pulled the user database for Alazom?
A year ago, more than a year ago. So,
okay, so if you have a SUMO account created in the last year, you probably have to create an account on Alazom to log in. Is that how it works?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it worked for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing the progress, Ricky.
No problem.
Maybe I should add one more thing to that. I said that I would do bi-weekly sprint updates. So there is a blog post coming up. I decided to do that, to do those updates together with the release of, or with the push that we're doing, because our pushes are basically 1 week behind our current schedule or current development. That means that if I post that right when we start the sprint, people won't be able to, for example, look at the KPI dashboard that we've been working on for the last 2 weeks. So I'll be doing those sprint updates, update posts every time we do a push within those 2 weeks, so that people can just directly go to those URLs or look at those features and give us feedback on those. So the next one is coming up tomorrow.
Is there anything should we be involved in that, or like, is there anything people can do to help?
Yeah, you should read them and give feedback on that.
So you're going to blog every time you do a push, every 2 weeks? Is that what you said?
Yes. Well, not every time we do a push, but every time we do a push after the sprint is done. Like basically, for example, the push tomorrow on the 24th, that is the push for our first sprint and first complete sprint. And every time we do that, I will post an update on what actually went into the sprint. Like, for example, the last time, a lot of that is not visible because it is concerning the search engine. But there are some things that are visible, like bug fixes, like the KPI dashboard that we started. So those things I will explain in a bit more detail. And it will be good, like, every time we do that, if you could give feedback on that, because the sooner we know, like when we fix something and you use it and you realize it's not really fixed, the sooner we know that, the easier it is to get back to that. Much easier than realizing a month or 2 months later that something isn't actually done. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
All right, cool. Any other questions for Ricky about development? All right. Thank you, Ricky. The other thing that is not on the agenda was what we agreed last week to add was the UX update. So please, Crystal, ignore the fact that it's not on the agenda, but
Okay.
give us the update anyway.
So I was in a conference yesterday, but busy, good work has been being done by Susan and Brom, and Kadir's been helping. And I don't know how many of you Susan has interviewed so far, but those are going on as well. So there's a lot of analysis notes in progress. Susan is generating an enormous volume of insights into the data, observations from the search analytics, and Brom worked on a site map with Kadir, which was an amazing help to me. I don't think I was going to be able to do it. And I literally don't think I had the ability to do the site map because it's very detailed work, and they did a fantastic job at that. So that's the status. We had a work session, I guess it was Friday, not Friday the last Friday, but Friday before that. And we probably need to do another one coming up soon to start distilling all this data into something. Hopefully soon we'll have this synthesized into a presentation that we can give to the whole team. I don't know when exactly that's going to be yet, but this stuff is really cool insights, like, you know, Facebook is our top search term, and all these different third-party URLs like Yahoo and different webmails and stuff are an enormous percentage of our search terms. So, you know, there's just some great observations in there, and I don't want to spoil it too much by talking about it, but just a little sneak peek into some of the stuff we're starting to see.
Do you have a sense of when we would be given that presentation? You said you didn't know exactly when, but do you know when you know?
Well, I think Susan and I were working on a schedule, so we should have a sense of that this week.
Crystal, are you talking about the first deliverable, or the first state? Or sorry, the end of the first phase?
Yeah.
So I talked with I had a talk with Susan on Friday, and basically she thinks it will be the 6th of February, so a week later than we actually planned for. But she will give me a definite, or at least she told me that she would be giving me a definite answer by the end of today.
Okay. Yeah. So sometime this week. It's not only when Susan is done with her data, it's also the amount of time it's going to take Brom and I to turn that into a cohesive presentation to give to everybody.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I think it should be, that's pretty soon.
All right. Okay.
I just added a spot for UX update on the page. So if anyone can fill in some of what Crystal just said, that would be awesome.
Brom, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, as soon as I start, as we start the meetings, I start editing the page. So if you are going to add anything to that, please do that before the meeting or put it into IRC, because otherwise we will have mid-air collisions here.
I did not know that.
Just think.
I think I collided with you too then. Sorry.
Yeah, I collided as well.
I see now that there's a Firefox status update is in there, and some sync and marketplace updates are live. So I think
you need to
redo yours, Kadir.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Kadir, probably better for you to do it offline, Kadir, because that allows everyone else to help you. So it's going to be less work for you in the end. Because then you can just reload the page and see what else the blanks that you need to fill in. So it's probably going to save your time for you in the end.
I think I'll do that.
All right. Cool. Crystal, thanks for the update. I think, any questions for Crystal or about UX?
Is Brom?
Brom, you have anything?
Yes,
sorry,
Crystal.
Brom.
Oh, sorry.
No, other than the fact that I spent several days, basically a little bit of this weekend and also earlier today to expand the sitemap. So now it should cover the footer and everything else. So it should be it should be bigger and hopefully a little more testable. Like it has a lot more click points and whatever. So yeah, so it should be good, I think. So almost ready. So basically, after we have set up some tasks to test this sitemap with, and as soon as, so I think I'm about half done with the task or something. So as soon as we're done with the task, basically, we can start dog fooding it internally to you guys, so you guys can all sort of run through the test and help us bug fix it, and then we'll launch it publicly. So hopefully that'll happen like tomorrow or Wednesday.
Do you guys have a sense of what this test is? Or should I give you a quick summary of it?
Is it a heartbeat or something like that?
Okay, so short, in a very short nutshell, Brom made this spreadsheet that is a list of every page and all the links that are in it. So in home, it has all of the articles that we keep. You know, we got the big section of articles, and then there are links in the footer, and there basically every link that's on the home page is represented as another row in the column. You go to all of those pages and you do it again, and so you end up with this very deep spreadsheet. And the point of doing this is that you can take that and combine it with our list of the top tasks. Top tasks being, these are the things that users are wanting to do when they come to our site. And we've chosen the top as a direct result of an analysis of the metrics that says these are the pages that are getting the most traffic. These are the pages that people are finding. And then also search analytics, which gives us the other side of these are the things that people are looking for. So crossing those trees to see what people are looking for and what people are finding gives us a sense of what tasks we should be using to test this sitemap. So we're doing this current as a baseline of where we stand now, and then we will do it again once we have the taxonomy from Susan to compare how much better the new taxonomy is than our existing. Does that make sense?
So you'll count the number of clicks it takes for someone to get to the answer, or what's the measure?
The TreeJack, we tell it what the correct answer is. If you say, I want to learn about how to change my homepage, you'll say, here's the correct answer. So a user will be, it will calculate whether they got it correct, and it'll also calculate how long it took them to get to the answer, and also it will count the directness, because they only see one level of information at a time. It's a tool that's especially for testing navigation hierarchies. So they can click, and if they don't find the answer in that, then they can back up and go to a different one. So it also will give them a score on directness. Did they go straight to the answer? Did they have to back up and go and look in another category?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, TreeJack basically shows people only the navigation and nothing else, and then you can basically tell whether it works or not. Crystal, I have one more question. We set up a meeting between you, Bram, and me for later today. Not sure if you've seen that. Just wanted to check if you're available for that.
I'm double booked. Sorry, I must not have hit reply all. I went on and said I wasn't available. We can see. I have a 1:30, but that's really late for you.
Well, for Bram, it will be really late.
Right.
We can figure it out offline.
Or really early, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay.
All right. Thanks for the updates. We should move on. All right. So we have roundtable. There are a couple of items already on the list, and then we should cover the other stuff. One thing that hasn't been said, but it's obvious to everyone on the call, is that we're recording. It's going to be obvious for everyone reviewing this afterwards too. But Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are recording this, and we will broadcast. We will publish the link. Where exactly, Michael?
I'll do it on the blog and in the contributor forum.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, it always.
Right.
I haven't had a haircut since we went to Kuala Lumpur. It's getting pretty long.
Well, it looks good though.
You wanna speak about hair because my trimmer is lost in the ocean. So.
But you have extremely interesting beard that makes up for any hair excuse in the world, I think.
It's really building character, I have to say.
Yeah. All right. So first item is discussion about Army of Awesome Facebook. This was added by Schwarnava. Schwarnava, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. This is going to be on air too, of course. So that's, I need to practice my pronunciation. Anyway, we discussed on IRC briefly about the Facebook, the plans for, or an idea about extending Army of Awesome to also include Facebook. And Kadir, I know that Kadir, you worked together with William Reynolds on drafting an early plan for this. Do you want to sort of give us an update on what has been done so far and where we are with that?
Well, so the plan drafted, I think, sometime last year, and it basically meant that when people, so the engagement team was complaining that when they post an update to Facebook, almost all of the replies are support questions or people complaining about Firefox because something is not working. And we wanted to help them out, so we came up with this plan between William and me. I think David was also part of that, not sure anymore. But basically, we offered them that after any Facebook post, for the next few hours, we would periodically check in and try to answer questions coming up and point people to SUMO, basically. So that would solve two things. First, letting people know about SUMO, so the next time they could go there directly instead of having to complain on the page where they don't get reply anyway. And the second thing would be that we wouldn't be flooded with support questions that have no reply at all, which always looks bad, reflects badly on Mozilla. I have to say, unfortunately, we weren't approached by engagement since then. So this relies on engagement basically telling us when they want to post a Facebook update so that we can be ready and basically just jump in and answer the replies. But it hasn't happened. And that is the status currently. So we could just put that into effect. Whenever the engagement team wants to do that, they just have to let us know about it.
Yeah, so I think... Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say that there's some issues with that, and there's some other ideas too, right? I thought like eBay was looking or had ideas about looking at tools that we could use to do this so that it's not like a manual process where it can only be Mozilla employees that can have access to the Firefox Facebook account to go in and answer. There's like hundreds of posts every time, sometimes many hundreds.
Just to be clear, what I'm doing is try to figure out how to get the information that we have there.
This isn't about the answering questions.
Right.
Sorry.
I don't think there are tools that allow you to. I'm not sure exactly, but I haven't seen them yet. I mean, there are lots of tools for for Twitter sharing. Not sure about Facebook. I don't know exactly, but the goal here is not to answer every single question that comes to that page. It's just about periodically, like right after the update is posted, you will get a few questions or people complaining about Firefox. At that moment, you have someone from the support team actually jumps in and answers a few of those questions. So everyone coming after that will see those replies as well. And then you come back an hour later, or maybe 2 hours later, or 3 hours later, and do the same again. Not for half an hour or an hour and answering every single question, just periodically and answering some of them so that the rest actually sees there is another resource that they can go to, which is SUMO.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and obviously there are a lot of benefits of doing support on SUMO, which is why we have the signpost idea on Twitter too. We want people to come to SUMO because there we can collect information about the version of Firefox, the operating system, install plugins. We can ensure a consistent support experience. So the goal here, just like Kadir summarized, was to make people more aware of the fact that there is a better place to ask for help.
Right.
The goal is not to magically answer all the questions, and it's also, I mean, it's next to impossible, because first of all, we're limited by the system, the Facebook platform. We can't answer unless you want to send private messages to everyone, which we certainly couldn't. That wouldn't scale at all. You have to just resort to periodically provide some updates. And so the idea was to summarize this, we sort of dropped the ball, really, and we haven't picked it up. And you're right, Kadir, that we haven't heard from engagement, because surprisingly they dropped the ball too. So I think as a first step, as the next step here would be to resync with the engagement team. And I actually have it on my agenda anyway, to talk to Jane. So I'm going to start by talking to Jane and see if I can incorporate that discussion too. And then I think we should just figure out to get back on track.
Do they also
and also,
sorry. Do they also file them in bugs, though? I mean, couldn't we just follow the bugs that they file for their Facebook content updates?
Yes,
they file bugs
possibly. Yeah, I didn't even know that. But if they do, yeah.
They do. They file bugs for every content update. I mean, there's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that would be one way. So if we're having a hard time finding out when they're doing their updates, I bet you it's in Bugzilla.
But just to be clear, that wasn't the only thing that we discussed. We also talked about the benefits of syncing up prior to publishing, because that can, first of all, and maybe this is also in the bug, the specific time of publishing, not just a day, so that we're prepared, because it's really the first few minutes after posting that people are going to be most active in submitting comments, and that's when we want to be there and show that, hey, we're actually here, we're listening, we want to help you, but you need to go here instead. The second thing is that we may actually be able to affect the content of the post by providing helpful support links whenever appropriate. But yeah, the bug seems like a great place to start. But I still think it's value in syncing up with the engagement team and making sure that we're on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that regardless. But the outcome might be that we will just communicate through Bugzilla. So I'm adding that on my to-do list, just for the record.
And just so people know that there's not a way to do Facebook support the way we do Twitter support. Doesn't work that way. We can't have like an army of awesome for Twitter. I mean, for Facebook.
They would all speak in our name. Like with Twitter, you can use your own Twitter account to just reply to anyone. On Facebook,
you can do that on Facebook too. So I mean, the whole idea is to get answers to people and point people to Sumo. I don't really care if that comes from the official Firefox account. I mean, there is value in doing that, but there could also be other people doing it. Anyone in the volunteer community could say, hey, if you need support, go here instead.
No, what you can't do is on Facebook, you have to be friends with someone to send them a private message.
No,
right.
Well, yeah,
I didn't mean private message. I meant commenting in the thread itself. So if there's a post from Facebook, there are 50 comments. We can be comment number 51 saying, hey, support is available on Sumo. And for your particular problem, here's a good, helpful article. So it's not just about pointing to people to Sumo. It's also being helpful. But same with Twitter. But you're right that we can't address one individual person. You can't make sure that person actually sees it. So it's more for the people who come back to.
David, I think we're losing you.
Yeah, David's frozen, but I can hear Kadir.
Yeah, I can
hear
also.
You guys.
Okay.
I think it's only David.
I believe you send personal messages to people even if you're not friends, but I don't know that we should.
So I think that was it. I think we're probably waiting for David to come back. While he's doing that, I had put this Firefox reset feature thing on the list because it was asked about in the contributor forum. It came up this weekend. I just wanted to let people know. So there is this feature that we've been working on for forever, and we might get part of it in Firefox 12. So the idea is, goofiness with your profile folder causes all kinds of problems in Firefox. And, to make a new profile, and it's fairly easy, at least on Windows, to make a new profile, although you would never know how to do it. You have to have instructions to do it. So you would never know. And then, but the harder part is like transferring all your data over, which is like really a mess. So the idea of this feature is it would give you a way to do this automatically. So we would do it like when Firefox crashes a number of times. So right now, after like twice, we show you the session restore thing, like, hey, maybe it's one of these tabs. Maybe you don't want to restore all of them. So maybe the third time it crashes in a row like that on startup, we would open up the safe mode dialog to give you the opportunity to either start in safe mode or perform this thing which will fix, I don't know what we're going to call it, fix Firefox. It'll create a new profile and migrate your passwords, bookmarks, history, stuff like that over to your new profile. And then the other place this would be another use case would be you are reinstalling Firefox, and we look and we say, hey, they have Firefox 901 and they are installing Firefox 901. Maybe they're trying to fix something, right? So we would give you this option when we detect that. And then the last place, which is the thing that we may get in Firefox 12, which would be a button in troubleshooting information in about support. We'd give you a button that you could click while Firefox is running. Firefox would have to be running. And you'd be able to click this button, and it would create this new profile and migrate all your stuff. So you can follow it off of the feature page. It's in progress. Some stuff is landing.
Great. That's really great news. This is something that we wanted for quite some time, and you worked hard to both define this and drive it, Michael, so good job. This is going to make, hopefully, a huge difference to users in their ability to help and heal Firefox themselves without having to go to support. So it's wonderful news. Okay, so one thing about the recording these meetings also means that these meetings should be somewhat brief. So I just want to remind everyone that and this is certainly a reminder for myself too, that we need to be brief in our summaries of the updates, because otherwise we're gonna scare people off. and especially Chris, who I know promised to work on fleshing out the meeting minutes. He has to watch the entire thing. So thanks in advance, Chris. We should all wave and smile. We know what you're going through. All right. So anyway, let's keep things brief. And with that said, are there any other roundtable topics that we should talk about today?
Oh, I put one in there about this. Well, the last SUMO Day thread on the contributor forum, I had an idea to change the front page of the site. So if you're interested in that idea, it's in the SUMO Day for the 19th thread.
Can you link to it in the notes so people will know?
Yeah, I didn't put the link, so I will do that.
Okay, so you're requesting feedback on that post. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right, cool.
So I wanted to ask about that while we have everyone here. So I mean, I like this idea, but I think it should be in the ask a question flow while we still. I mean, for now, while we still have an ask a question flow. But what's the process for changing if you guys end up thinking that's a good idea? What's the process for changing ask a question pages? That's a SUMO push, right? That's a code change.
It's a SUMO push, at least at the moment.
So that would have to be. So for instance, if we have a SUMO Day on a Thursday, there's a code push on a Tuesday, when would you have to have things submitted by to have them done for a particular date? Just to be clear.
Can we talk about that in the discussion thread, though? Is this important for everyone to know right now?
No, I guess not. I just wanted to, yeah. Well, I wanted to say it so that while people that are maybe not interested in replying in that thread would know that maybe that's part of a possible solution.
Well, I honestly, I mean, I guess the goal for me is to get to people before they're asking a question, right? This is a self-help goal where I'm trying to stave off all these duplicate questions by changing the home page for one day to see if a change to those links would get people to some of the answers that have been posted so many times. I mean, it's so much, it's really causes so much fatigue that questions over and over and over again these same questions. And I know we have other things in plan for fixing that problem, but this would be before anyone goes to the ask a question. I mean, that would be my fictional
So I guess
user, is
we
that
should. All right. Well, I guess we should talk about this in the thing, and maybe this is where we ask for some help from like Brahm and Crystal. But like for instance, looking at the tasks that they came up with, the UX, right, for what people are trying to do, many of those tasks are not the kinds of things that we get those questions in the forum. And I feel like if we replace some of the stuff on the front page with these other things, then we might not get duplicate questions about those, but we're going to get duplicate questions about all the stuff that we just took off of the front page.
That is the reason why this redesign will basically, so what is planned for now is having category pages. That means that what we are doing right now in the Ask a Question flow will actually be part of the page. So right now you have a very flat hierarchy. Look at the start page. It's single, like there is a single level basically. You just get from the start page to an article. There is no level in between. There is no hierarchy in between. That means anything that is not on the start page is not accessible by clicking.
Right.
You have to search. So that is the biggest issue that we have. And like Michael said, if you remove one thing from that page, then the thing that we removed is only accessible by searching now. So we will run into this issue all the time unless we change the whole structure, which this redesign is about.
Yep.
Right, this would just be for, the idea is just for one day, not to remove things permanently or anything, but to see if we could limit some of those duplicates.
So let's everyone take a look at that thread and provide your feedback, and let's keep the discussion going there. Because I need to read the whole proposal before I can even have an opinion about it personally.
I'm still digging around looking for the demo link. Yep.
Okay. Any other roundtable topics? It's okay to say no. All right. Firefox status update, Cheng.
Firefox 10 ship date's the 31st. The current plan, I didn't write that down, I just realized, is to do a slow rollout, but it's not going to be as slow as Firefox 9 was, but we're not releasing to everyone on day one. It's something in between. The release engineering team still talking about how that's going to work. The major blockers at the moment, 2 Mac issues. One is GCCC pauses, which is something you might have seen emails about, but it's when the browser hangs for about a couple of seconds every 10 minutes or so. And the other Mac issue is Firefox 11, or sorry, Flash 11, which is the latest version of Flash, is not actually compatible with Firefox 10 on OS X 10.5, which is kind of a lot of combinations of things, but essentially they're not going to be able to see anything that has Flash until they change their Flash version.
But can they update to the latest Flash?
I don't actually know. That's a good question.
Right. I thought it was part of the thing was Flash was dropping support for PowerPC.
But
Flash hasn't supported PowerPC for quite some time now.
That's right. They already dropped support for PowerPC. But
they already dropped support. It's for
10.5?
10.5 total, like not just PowerPC 10.5 users.
So if they're dropping, okay, because you could have an Intel chip that be on 10.5.
Yep.
And so your Flash won't work for you anymore then.
Yep.
You have to not upgrade Flash. You have to update your OS and update Flash.
Yes, but updating your OS costs money, right?
Right.
Anyway,
but that's for everybody, not just for Firefox users.
I think that's for everyone. I don't know, because the note I got was this is specific to Firefox 10. So I don't know. I'll check into it. But the bug I'm looking, I have to find the bug now. And navigate away from it. but it should be, I think it's Firefox 10, there's something weird going on. And the other issue is we know about crash that is likely caused by malware, that is new in 10, that is a startup crash, which is to say if you have this malware and you update to Firefox 10, you are going to be unable to start Firefox. But we can't reproduce it in-house, and we can't figure out what malware it is. So
Is that for macOS?
that's
No,
not
that one's
macOS.
for Windows.
That one's Windows
Oh.
only.
Okay.
So those are the 3 known issues that I'm tracking right now that we will probably ship with.
But there's nothing here that you need help with from us?
Not
the point
really,
of this
no.
is just to give us an idea of the issues that you're working on.
Yep, I mean it's just a status update so that keep these things in mind for when Firefox 10 ships. I don't know if you want to start documenting the two or
These-
3 things from that.
These could be latest
Helpful.
issue things that we'll have to
Right.
document.
But you can't do anything about it, right?
Well, yeah, there's nothing we can do as a support. We just have to be aware that
Yeah.
these are things that are going to come up.
Yeah, it looks like all of
in
these
a
issues,
month.
there's no good workaround at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a sense of how many people will be hit by this? Because if we know that this is going to come up, then we might as well just start to draft those articles.
Well, there's no articles so that's the thing. So there's nothing like, okay, you have a malware startup crash. The solution is quit getting malware on your computer. We can give people downloads, right? I mean, we'll give them downloads for getting rid of malware. We have the article about that, and we'll put that in an article. But like the GCCC pause thing, we don't have a solution for it. Or if Flash 11 isn't compatible, I mean, you have to update your OS. That's go pay $129 to Apple and update your OS. I mean, we'll write that in the thing, but
right.
It's
so
not
I guess what we need.
Flash. Right.
So what we could do is really just keep these on the radar, and then once we ship, we look out for these type of questions in the forum. And if we see a spike in certain or one of these topics, then we write an article for that with either the non-workaround or whatever information we have about the issue.
Well, or we report it. So one of the things that, like Cheng was saying, what they're going to do about the slow rollout is, so you can always manually check for updates or go to the website and download the newest version, but they're not going to prompt everyone with an auto update on day one.
I think we're doing 10% to
10% at a time, or
But so my other point that I would like to make is that this kind of information is exactly. Are you posting this in the contributor forum too?
I'm going to post this once I have more details right before the push.
Because I was going to say that this is the kind of information that anyone helping in the forum would benefit from knowing, and also knowing where to report it. If you see a lot of these questions, who do you talk to?
Yep. I always do a thread that says, these are the top issues we're expecting for this release, and this is the kind of things I put into it.
Right.
Okay. So, and you encourage people to post in those threads.
Yep.
That if you see these things,
if you see something else,
perfect.
or if you see these things, just speak up in those threads, and I monitor those threads constantly after releases.
All right, great. I just wanted to make sure that we had a way to make sure that everyone can share this information.
Yep.
Perfect. Metrics.
So first, the usual metrics that we have. It looks like we are back to normal. We had this weird Mozilla.org.com thing. That at least seems to be back to normal with the visitor and view data. And other than that, it seems pretty flat what we have right now. That is the first thing. The second thing, Michael, do you have a question about that?
I'll let you finish.
Okay. The second thing is the metric issues that we still have, which Cheng sent around an email last week about. We are done with the log. It looks like we are mostly done with the log issues. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cheng, but it looks like the log data is complete.
Wait, what?
So the
I think eBay probably has that update, right?
No, the log data is what Cheng looked into.
I'm working on. So what I'm working on is that we have complete log data starting from last Tuesday.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We
so
don't have the backlog yet, right?
the backfill is what Anurag is working on this week and or next week. So the thing is, he's on leave. He's on paternity leave right now, but he knows it's important, so he's going to work on this whenever he gets some chance. That was the status update I got from him.
Okay, so there is still, I mean, that is the log part, which is coming in.
Right.
But there is still the web trends part of this, which we can monitor further and look into further once we know that our log data is complete. And once we can actually compare our log data to our web trends data to say what the difference is. And once we have that, probably next week, we can look into what the web trends issues are. And think by we will need our contact at web trends by then
I'm moving
to explain.
I'm moving those strings already.
All right. So still at least 2 weeks to go before we have complete understanding of what is going on with our web trends data and why it is not syncing up with our log data.
Right. So
but at least by then we will have a better understanding of it than we had before. So that's the benefit also.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a heads up. So I did send an email around last week, and the upshot really is that web trends is down about something between 40 and 60% of what the logs say, and it is very possible that people are just not running that JavaScript, and it might be that they're leaving the page early or they're not waiting for the page to load completely before they quit. It seems like a large number to me, but that seems like the most likely explanation.
But just to be clear, I mean, as long as that data, that drop is consistent across all articles, we have no problem because then we can still trust it. But the problem here is that we see differences in different type of articles, so we need to figure out what those differences means. You know, are those differences due to larger articles, longer articles, and that people have a higher tendency to not load that JavaScript thing for the long articles, or are there other reasons? And just to make sure that I understand correctly, because you said 1 week, Kadir, and I think early when you and I spoke, Ibai, you said 2 weeks. How long are we waiting to populate these logs before we start to compare these things?
I want 2 weeks of data.
Okay.
Okay, so in 2 weeks from now, you will start the investigation.
Right.
Okay. Then
I mean, the analysis is pretty much, the structure is done. It's just to get the data and organize the data.
Well, we can start the analysis by next week because by then we will have 2 weeks of data. We started getting data from last Tuesday on. So by tomorrow we will already have 1 week. By next week we will have 2 weeks of data.
Right. Okay, so we can start next week then. Perfect.
Yep.
And can I
Michael
just
last
say,
question.
I'm just so always, this is so confusing to me. And so like on SUMO, on our most visited articles list, what I'm seeing is not drops in numbers, but like huge multipliers. So articles have doubled or tripled in views. Like they're get
so
crazy
that's something
numbers.
Completely different. So that's something completely different. So what's going on there is something happened in the .com to .org switch where we changed our web trends token. Ricky might have more details.
Right.
Although I guess he's not on the call anymore. And he, what happens? The old token didn't work and we lost data for a little while, and then we got a new token, and that seems to work fine, except it seems to be reporting article hits at a much higher rate than they used to. So it's possible that the old token was missing a lot of stuff, and the new token now gets everything.
Okay.
Right.
And we're not entirely sure why.
Got it.
But so that's another thing to investigate. But right now, what happened was something in the .com to .org switch. We switched tokens, and somehow the new token is like 3 times stronger.
Right. Got it. I mean, we had that time where we were getting like double hits, but that's over. And so
right. So we are still getting double hits.
Oh.
I was wrong about that. We're still getting double hits. The reason it looks over is because at the end of that, Ibai took away all the 3.6 numbers. And so the numbers dropped all the way back down because we lost all of our 3.6 hits.
On the homepage.
Oh, yeah,
if you go to the different sites, you will see that the trend is just, it keeps going. Just to complement what Cheng said, I already wrote to the guys in WebTrends, and they're going to be helping us with this week. So as soon as the guy understands what happened, he will be back to us. The problem is that we don't have access to the old JavaScript anymore, to the old snippet, so we cannot compare. But the fact that Ricky told me that they were pretty different, it's pretty suspicious.
So let's follow up on this next week then,
Yeah.
once we have more information from WebTrends.
Well, we will
And
only
thanks for
be,
working on this.
Yes, so one more clarification. Next week we will probably not have more information. It is next week on Tuesday that we can start analyzing it and basically comparing with what we have from
Yeah,
those
but
two
we
data
may have an
sources.
update about the timeline, so I think we should still follow up on it. But as expecting some results by 2 weeks from now, approximately.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Any other metrics stuff? All right. Let's move on. Knowledge base.
I can do these real quick.
Michael.
We got a new sidebar, went live on Friday, so it hides the editing tools. Unless you click a little button, then it shows you the editing tools, and it'll remember your preference. It's really nice. It's in the last week's What's Up with Sumo video. It looks like since Friday afternoon, we haven't gotten any misplaced help requests in article forums, but we'll have to keep watching and see if we also stopped getting any helpful helpful feedback. So we'll look about that too. There's 3 weeks left to get articles ready for Firefox 11, and I linked here to Michelle's big giant list of mobile articles. So anyone who wants to work on knowledge base articles, mobile articles will be lots of fun to help with because they all completely change. So so it's like starting completely over.
That's your idea of fun?
Yes.
I don't know, you know.
It's going to be so
You know what?
fun.
You should tell that to localizers.
It's going to be so fun, so fun.
but-
We're just going to start from scratch.
Wow.
Change is fun. Yeah, no, I agree.
And then the last thing is this. I just posted about it like 1 minute before the meeting started. So this links in the notes here. It links to the forum thread about a KB review sprint. So trying to get through the whole backlog of things that need to be reviewed. I put some tasks and steps, procedures for going through that. I'm going to do that on Thursday, January 26th. I'll send out a little message to the KB reviewers group, which includes many of y'all.
You should also send that to the KB editors group.
They don't have permission to review the articles. So I'm sending it to the editors group.
The reviewers group, you mean?
I mean the reviewers group. Hello.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, actually, they do.
What do you mean? How can the editors review the articles?
Well, originally we gave all the rights to the KB editors group. You will see that all our localizers are in that group because we don't have permissions broken down.
That's the reviewers group. You mean to send it out to localizers?
Just ignore me.
Okay.
For how long? But for now, at least.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I'm going to do Thursday, and I'll be around, of course, like always, in IRC or private message. If you have questions about an article, we need to discuss it in a forum thread, then let's discuss it right then. Get it done. That kind of stuff.
The goal is to work hard on reducing that list of articles waiting for the review.
Yeah, I will probably do some before Thursday, but Thursday will be the day. I'm just going to do that all day.
Me too.
All right. Yeah, that's the day everyone is going to do it, hopefully. But
awesome.
No one is. We're not going to stop anyone from starting today.
Yeah.
Okay. Mobile looks empty, but I could be looking at an old version of this page.
No, it is empty.
Then let's keep it that way. Services.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sorry.
really, I have some
No,
mobile
actually,
updates.
first, Michelle, if you had anything about mobile, let's certainly talk about it. But let's
No.
make it a habit. If it's empty, let's just move on.
Okay, Ibai, go ahead.
Really quick. On sync, we have 3+1. I don't think it's stable in Aurora. Happy days. So it's going to be landing almost 99% sure. The developer team is sprinting to make sure that sync works smoothly on Android native. Today is not working as good as it should be, but it needs to land. So I will keep you posted there. And then two additional things. Browser ID login is on the works. So the team working on Browser ID is working in a way to wrap up your sync key or your recovery key with your password and your credentials. So Browser ID is going to be the only thing that you're going to need to log in into Sync. That's super good news because it's going to be super easy to log in. It's going to be super complicated to forget your recovery key because there is none. So that's all good stuff. Side note from the Sync team, Firefox 13 may imply a Firefox Sync 2.0, where they are going to make it incompatible. They're going to make just a brand new backend that will not work with previous versions. We're evaluating the impact there, and I will keep you updated. Uh, for me, from my point of view, the biggest thing is how that's going to interact with ESR. Because if there's people working with 10 at work and with 13 plus at home, that could be tricky. But the fact is that ESR is going to be published without sync support, almost for sure. So I will keep you posted on
Wait,
that.
wait, wait,
If you,
wait. How is Firefox 10 not going to have sync support?
the ESR version of Firefox 10.
So that's going to be a separate build?
Yeah.
That's what Mike Connor told me.
So,
What?
okay, because oh my gosh. So that's completely crazy and completely changes what they said they were going to do, because then we have to change our entire plan, because I thought the plan was always to be Firefox 10. It was going to be the Firefox 10, and then they were just going to not change it. But if it's a different Firefox 10, we have to have different support for two different versions of Firefox. There's Firefox 10 and the other Firefox 10.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah, we should find
Well,
out.
yeah, I wonder if this is just an exception because of the fact that the service will not function for sync. But it could also indicate that there is more differences that are going to happen. I don't think so, but I have a gut feeling that this is the one-off feature.
Yeah,
But
maybe it's just a matter of deactivating in 10.7 we deactivate sync. That's it.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then it's not a problem. We don't have to change our way of working,
Right.
Michael, because it's just a matter of updating the Firefox 10 information at that point to remove all the traces of sync.
Right.
So let's figure out what the scope is of this.
Okay.
If we're really forking here, or if it's just this particular feature.
I get it.
Ibai, can you? Sorry, Michael, what were you saying?
No, I got it. Now I understand. Panic over. Okay.
Yeah. Good. But Ibai, if you can you look this up and report back as soon as possible
Yes,
about what exactly?
I'm going to have the conversation again this week. I just found it out last week, and it's not 100% clear how it's going to be. So
Okay.
I will keep you posted. In terms of marketplace, delays, and delays. Everything is moving forward, but it's being delayed. We're not launching for Mobile World Congress. We'll be launching the preview on the 21st of March, and we'll be launching for general public sometime during June. So the idea is to launch a fully functional platform the 21st. Start populating it with applications. Users can start downloading and purchasing applications, but we're not gonna do a campaign or anything until June. That's pretty much the plan. I will keep you posted there too.
Okay. Support forum and live chat is empty. anything we need to talk about today?
How was our sumo day on
Just
Thursday?
I don't have the numbers, but it was a blast. It was really fun. The Iona translated my blog post and put it on the front of Mozilla Romania. So they were all participating. It was awesome.
Cool.
So, but I still have to get the numbers together.
quickly about live chat. I sent an email today to Matthew that we need to round up all the pages that still refer to live chat and ask for participation in live chat, because that's not happening anymore. So there will be a cleanup going on in the next few weeks to basically remove all references to live chat from all the pages that we have, which appears to be quite a lot of pages.
There's so most of the references to live chat are on live chat specific pages, which can simply be archived. There are a few links on pages such as the how to contribute, which need to be changed.
We need to also work with marketing, because there might be some references on some Mozilla.org pages.
Really?
At least I know that, I can't remember where I've seen those before, but there are a couple references to say, hey, you can check out a support site. They have, they have a bunch of articles, and you can get, real-time chat or something like that. A lot of little snippety kind of
I've never seen that.
They might have all been expired already, but we should just check with them.
We also need to let our localizers know and stuff like that, or remove those that information from the localized pages manually, because otherwise people will just click and get a page that doesn't work.
Right.
Here, what I'll do is I will look. I will go through the logs and see what the refers are for that page, at the very least, and we can see where people are getting to the chat page from.
So you're driving this, Kadir?
Yeah.
So simple. All right. Okay. Let's see. Do we have anything else? So we aimed for 30-minute meeting, and we achieved 61 minutes. So I would say we need to try harder next time.
We're getting there.
But to be fair, we didn't have a meeting last week, so that might have contributed.
That's a good excuse. So next week we will only need 30 minutes. Is what you're saying.
This is a double upgrade.
Less 29.
Yeah, let's make that a goal at least. Have a great week, everyone.
You too.
Talk to you next week.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.